Okay, now if you take a look here, the query number 5, display whose department is CE and student type is grade. Okay, now if you take a look, we are trying to get the name of the person whose department is CE and whose student type is grade. Okay, now we are trying to find the name of the person. Now name is coming from the first table, USCIS, right? And then department CE is in the second table, right? Department column is in the second table. And then student type grade, right, is in the third table. Now, while we are writing this query, we'll have to connect three tables together. Does it make sense? Now, so do you have any question like what I am actually asking to bring from this query? Is it clear about the expectation from this query? Right? This, like, I'm trying to clear up this expectation. First, if you look at the query 5, display whose department is C and student type is grade. I'm trying to find the person whose department is C and student type is grade. Grade, okay? So if you take a look, the name is in the first table, the department is in the second table, and student type is in the third table. Now we'll have to relate these three tables to get this query done. So we'll have to say, what are we looking? We are trying to get the name. So we'll say select name, right? Select name from. We are not trying to get student type or department, but this student type and departments are part of the query, are part of the where clause. Okay, so if you take a look, the query he has written, right? If you take a look, who has, first of all, if you look at the university table, who has student type grade? The person who has the social security 444453454. Is that correct? Grade, guys, is that correct? Who has a student type grade? If you look at the third table, what is SSN? Who can tell me? 3454, right? And then this person, now we got grade, and then we will have to see, we'll have to relate it in the first table. Now we'll have to also see like department, we'll have to get the department C as well. You see in the second table, if you take a look, that 444453454, what is the department for that person? C, right? Now if you go back, what is the alien nong for that C person? A1025. Now if you go back to the first table, what is that person's name? Mark. So are we getting the right person from his query? No. The query he has written, can you see in the lower part of the screen, select name from employer university USCIS, where USCIS.aliennong equal to employer.aliennong. We have created the relation between the first table and second table, and employer.ssn equal to university.ssn. We have relayed the second table and third table, and we have two conditions. One is department equal to CE and student type equal to grade. Is it the right query that he has written? Okay, good. Are we good? Come up with question, guys. No, no, grade. Can you see? Are we good? Nipa, do you understand this query? So, so here, join, right? We will do join. Join is, can you see the queries, those we are writing? It will be bringing if like the matching data. So sometimes you will have to bring the unmatching data too. That is where we use join. We will be discussing join later. Okay, at this point, don't worry about join. Just connect like how you create relation between the table and how you put condition. Okay, just bring, when you are writing your queries, focus on these topics. Yeah, yeah. That that like yeah. When you do not find the relation, but you still have to bring the data. That's where join is be useful. Okay. So here, up to this query, are we good? Okay. Now let's go back to Nahida. Are you done creating your tables? Okay. So in this case, Nabed, I will let you create the answer for the other exams. I will go back to Nipa's screen to look few issues, and then we will be having discussion. The discussion, is that okay? Do you have any question, Nabed? Okay, very good. So yeah, Nipa, if you would please share. Okay, you got your tables, right? First, can you give us a walkthrough on your tables? What you have in your tables? Mhm, mhm. Okay, you have 5 columns. How many records do you have in DMB table? Who are these records? Can you tell me the name of these records? Yeah. Okay. 3 records, right? Now, so what is the relation between these two tables? SSN. The two tables are related by SSN. Now, Razabai, if I ask you a question, can you tell me the address of the person whose zip code is 30041? Mm-hmm. Karim? Yeah, that looks good. Nahid bhai, do me a favor. Can you tell me the person's name whose city is Lawrenceville? Hisham. Okay. All right. So now the question that you asked me, Nahid bhai, like how to bring data from multiple tables. That is what? Hold on here, Nipa. Okay, you clicked it. Okay. So that is what we are going to address here. Right, by your to answer your question. So please put your focus so that you are okay with this, and if you have any question, yeah, ask me. Okay, now the first query display name, SSN, city, and J, right? Name is in the first table, SSN is in the second table, city in the second table, zip in the fourth second table, right? So basically you are getting data from two table. Is that correct, Nahid bhai? Okay. Now Nipa, yeah, write the answer of this query. Raza bhai, please put your focus here because you will have to go through this process. Nipa, remember, when you are writing, right, you'll have to create relation between these tables. Okay. So before can you explain why you have write it in that way? Mhm. 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 Okay. So all right. So what Naved is saying, Nipa, that name, that name column, do you have it in both table? No. That right? That SSN now here, that SSN, do you have it in both table? Yes. So that is where you have to put that dot. And then that city, do you have it in both table? So you remove the dot. If any of the column you have it in both table, then you have to specifically say from which table you want to bring it. And then zip, do you have it in both table? No, you didn't put the dot. That's fine. From DMB SOCSEC, you have to put both of the tables name because you are bringing data from two tables. And then where you create the relation. Right. Do you have any question the way she has written the query? Now, do you understand this? Do you have any question or concern? Relationship. And remember one thing, you see it, you might feel, oh, I totally understood, but you have no, but what I'm saying, Nightby, you have to write this query in your computer. You have to execute it by yourself. Otherwise, you might understanding it now, tomorrow, or day after tomorrow. You you have to create this table and you have to execute this query in your computer by your hand. That is what I'm trying to focus here. Okay. I sent 12 or 13 documents in the last email. This is part of the email. If you go back to the email, look at it is there. And I asked like all of the document that I'm sending in day to day in our class, in our discussion, you download them. If the document is regarding manual testing, you save it in a particular folder. If the document is related to database, you save it to a particular folder. If the document is related to automation, you put it in a particular folder. If the document is related to interview questions, you put it in a separate folder. So that you create separate folders for each document type. Okay, does it make sense, Nightby and everyone? Okay, okay, now Nipa, can you execute the first query? Okay, so here we got these two people, John and Karim. Why? Why we got John and Karim? Why we didn't get any other? Only two SSN matched. So I thought that three SSN will be matching. So why we are seeing only two? Now can you bring? Can you select? Okay, select star from DMB, right? And select star from SOCSEC. Bring the data. Okay, now DMB and yeah, select star from SOCSEC. Okay, now let's do a comparison of these. Uh, so if you take a look, 354, you have 234. So that means when you input the data, some of the data is not matching. Does it make sense? Okay, very good. Now, let's say that before you go for the next query, let's say that you have made a mistake in inputting data. How will you correct that mistake? Nipa, question to you. And everyone, please see like how we are updating data of the table. Let's say that what is the mistake. Now can you identify the mistake? Social security, you'll have to update the social security for it. Now can you update that? Will you be able to update that? What statement or what command you need to write for that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are right. You are the update statement that you are writing. That is what you will have to do. Now, how do you write update statement, right? So the update statement is the way you are putting update. You put the table name. Update, is it in Sockset? No, you have to update it in the first table. DMB, right? Update DMB. Update DMB. No, remove that and then press enter. Now, what do you want to update, right? Set SSN equal to, put the new value, new corrected value. SSN equal to, mhm, and then press enter. No, 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 no. If you, okay, now do a select star from DMB. It is a like learning thing. Okay, what happened? Same. So let's say that you have 1 million record in a table. If you do this update, what will happen? All of the 1 million data will be corrupted, right? So when you are updating, you'll have to be extra careful. This is that is what we are learning here. Now you'll have to update all of this column. Again, execute the update statement one by one. Mhm. Update. Update and then put set. I think while doing this update, um, everyone will learn that update statement. Yeah, SSN equal to put first one. First update the first one for John, right? Put the right SSN. Set SSN equal to 111. Put the right. How many? 131, right? Put it carefully. Press enter. And then where? Put a where clause. Now all of these fields are updated. Can you see SSN? All of the SSN got corrupted. Yeah. So where name equal to, yeah, 0 rows updated. Why? The spelling of the name. Can you see when you have inputted data, John, you have written it in uppercase. Remember, whatever you put in the quotation, you will have to match everything. If something is in the quotation, you will have to match the whole thing. Down arrow here. Set SSN, present a down arrow, where name equal to John. So you put in your actual entry, everything is uppercase. Okay. Now do the same thing for the remaining records. If she is entering invalid data, can anyone point it out so that we are good? So we are done with Karim. Hmm? Now, if you take a look in the table in the left hand side, this is the correct data. She has already done Karim, so she is now doing Farid. Mhm. Okay. It is tedious, right? So remember, if you have 1 million in a practical case, there might be millions of record. If you have done this, there is no way you can there is no way you can do this one by one. There must have to be a backup, and you'll have to bring the database from backup. If there is no backup, then this is totally messed up, right? So it is important that we be careful when we are updating data in the table. Okay. Okay. Now, if you execute the same query that you have executed, can you commit so that this data remain when you close your SQL window? Okay. Now execute that query where you got 2 records. Now we are expecting that we will be getting 3 records, right? Are we good now? Okay. Who has question up to this? Does anybody has any question? Nahid Bhai, Raza Bhai, or Nabed? I know that you will not have question in this part. But does anyone has any question up to this? Go ahead. What is the question, Nahid Bhai? So, if you look at the question, display name, nationality, who live in, uh, Jeep. No, this is a she. What was the query that you are executing? She is executing the first query. First query. She was doing the first query. Right, right. But in the first query, do you have any question? Anything that you need explanation? Nahid bhai, you understood? How about Raza bhai? Okay, now she's doing the second query. Take a look and let me know if you are, if you like. I will be asking Nahid bhai if you can tell me the answer of the third query, but let her finish the second query and then we'll go for the third query. And then I'll be asking a question to Reza bhai as well. Okay, so select name, nationality from DMB socksec, where dmb.ssn equal to socksec.ssn gpin. So Naved, what do you think? Is she correct on this? The second query, she is writing the second query. Okay. Okay, no problem. Okay. So why we got two answers here? Matching. Okay. Two, we have two matching zip code. Okay. Now, who has question on this query? Guys, if you have question, don't be shy. We are learning here. Everyone is learning. If you have question, if you want to ask the question, I will be answering. And every time you didn't understand. But if you skip, then you will be in difficulties. So feel free to ask me question. Uh, Look at the query. Zip code in 3004. We have mentioned how many zip code there? Two. We have mentioned two zip code. So bringing data for two zip code. Now, who has zip code 30044? Who has zip code 30044? Who has zip code 30095? Does it make sense? Rajabai? Okay, very good. Now, Nipa, hold on here. Hold on. I want this answer. Nahid bhai, you tell me this answer. Display, uh, cut. Yeah, display Karim and Don's assistant. Nipa, write whatever he is saying. Okay, after where, remember, you have to put the condition. Yeah, we are getting SSN for 2 person. So in the where condition, what will you put? Will you bring SSN for all of the people, or you will bring SSN for particular people? So how will you write it? Where SSN equal to John and Farid? No, no. Hold on here. Razabai, can you answer here? Okay, SSN in what? Uh-huh. So, so SSN in, like, John is not an SSN. Karim is not an SSN. Where name in, yeah, exactly. Where name in, and John and Karim, will that be like this, or it will be in the quotation? And in the quotation, single quotation, right? Okay. Now, what do you think, Razabai? Is that correct? What do you think, Nipa? Is that correct? Okay. What is your correction? Sorry. Relation. Why relation? Yeah. So the question here, we are getting data from a single table. So do I need to create a relation in this case? So is correct. Now can you execute this query? Are we good? Yeah, you're right. So the query is executed. Nipa, we are getting right result. Now, next query, display Don's nationality. Razabai, can you will you be do you think you are in a stage you will be able to tell us the query? Okay. Now, Nipa, can you write what Razabai is saying? Okay. Okay. Select what from DMB? Yeah. So no, remember, display Don's nationality. So what are we actually expecting here? Yeah. So select nationality, comma. So remember, when you are bringing data from two table, you will have to mention both of the tables separated by comma, and then you have condition. You put, and remember, you if you are bringing data from two table, first you will have to create a relation. Can you see in query 3, we didn't create a relation because we are bringing data from only one table. But when you are bringing data from two tables, first of all, you will have to create the relation between these two tables. Yeah, Razabhai, how do you create the relation? Nahid bhai, you tell me how we will be creating the relation here. No, 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 it's not correct. Put it in the right way. So, go ahead. And there is a you have created the relation, and then you have a condition. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Name equal to Reza bhai, do you understand? Reza bhai? Uh-huh. What kind of spelling mistake? Guys, let me tell you this. If you look at both of the tables, the query is correct. The results we received is correct. We received no rows selected. That is totally correct. Why? Tell me this. We whatever we received is correct. Why we have received this? In the success table, Don doesn't have an entry. Does he has any entry in success table? No. That's why we didn't receive any information. Now, Nipa, correct your query. Don Don D uppercase and all lowercase. Does anyone has any question up to this? Guys, do you have any question? If you have any question, you'll have to watch out my videos. Those I sent. You'll see it will be pretty clear. Now I want again Razabai, tell me the answer of the last query. Mhm, mhm. guys, help me on this. Help me on this first. Got it. Column name. Okay, this is another thing. This is another thing that we are going to learn today. Okay. Now, can you explain your situation? What mistake you made? Mhm. So your column name is problem, right? Okay. Um, so here, remember when you did the update statement, right? When you did the update statement, what did you update it there? Is it data or structure of the table? Guys, everyone understand this. When you did previously, when you changed the SSN, what did you change? You changed the data. You didn't change the structure of the table, right? Is that correct? Now, when you made a mistake on the column name, it is not related to data. It is the structure of the table. Is that correct? Okay. So, if you have to modify the data, if you have to play with the data, you execute update statement. If you have to play with the structure of the table, you will have to do alter statement. Does it make sense? Everyone? Alter? No, alter and then put the table. No, put the word table. You'll have to put the word table. Alter table and then put the table. And then go to the next line and then no, not set. It will be modify. Um, um, so here your column name is um, your column name is nationality, right? So here actually we will have to do a rename of the column. So here modify actually instead of modify um, hold on here. This is very important part. Okay. So put rename, and then what is your table name? SOC dot nationality to 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 the right one, whatever you want to put. So rename, when you are putting rename column, you have to put so go back there. After rename, you have to put the word column. Oh, so cast table rename, yeah, rename column n, there is an n, column 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 space, and then you do not have to put that nationality. You do not have to do that. Remove that. You put whatever the old name to the new name. Okay, and then press enter. Okay, now if you describe DESC, that, so can you see the syntax for renaming the column? Guys, can you see what syntax here? This type of set, is it correct now? So we have learned two important statement today. One is, if you want to play with the data, if you want to change the data of a table, you execute this update statement. If you have to play with the structure of the table, if you have to change the structure, rename, then you will have to execute the alter statement. Okay, are we good up to this? Nahid bhai, were you able to, like, did you get your answer, like how to grab data from multiple tables? Uh-huh. Okay, you try it. If you want to share, please share. So, Nipa, do you have any further question, or we have answered all of your questions so far? Okay, that's good. Save this for your future reference. And remember, if you do not practice, there is a very good possibility you will be forgetting stuff. So practicing is very important. Now, Nahid bhai, if you want to share, let me see what kind of issue that you are seeing, and then I'll get. Okay, so if you do not have any common column, you cannot create the relation. So you can do that, but here you do not have to put the where condition. It will be like, this is not logical, and this is not, like, that is like, if there is no relation between two table, if you bring data, it will not be related. This data will not be related. It will not be meaningful. So here, when you are bringing data from multiple table, you will have to have a relation. But still, if you do not have a relation, you can bring data, but this data will not be meaningful. Okay, sounds good, guys. Are you guys okay with what we have discussed, or Nahid bhai, do you have any further question? Okay. So one thing here for everyone, you will be coming up with questions every day, every day. If you do not practice the same thing, I'll be going over and over and over and over, and same topics you will be coming up with question. Same topics you will be asking me the same question every class. If you do not practice, if you do not do it by yourself, I know everyone is busy, but but one of the like, if you want to remain in this class, this is the strict condition. If you want to remain in this class, you will have to practice, and you will have to practice, and you will have to show me that you have practiced. How will I know you have practiced? You will have to send it to me. This is the foremost. If you want to stay in this class, you will have to practice this, and then you will have to show me. If you do not practice, I'll very politely say, do not waste your time in this class. If you do not practice, it is very straightforward. If you do not practice, do not waste your time in this class. If two students practice, if two of the you are practice, I'll be continuing class with them. I'll like to continue with them if you do not practice, because you are coming to this class, you are taking time from your family, you are taking time from your work, you are spending money, and eventually you want to get something. So one of the, you know, criteria in this course, if you want to, whatever we are doing, you will have to practice it, you will have to submit it to me. I'll have to see that you are working, it is giving benefit to you, this class is beneficial to you. Okay, so all right. So in this case, we are not having any break today. I will be continuing class from now on. I'll have few things to discuss, and then I think that we should be in good shape. Like what for your next class, right? For your next class, I will be specifically sending some homeworks targeting whatever we have learned, so that you can reflect this. So watch out for my email and complete this one. Send it to me. If, Mhm. So yeah. Mhm. Okay, so first of all, if you want to keep your data, you will have to commit. This is the thing. You will have to commit. Number one. Now, how you will be sending the work to me? Naved, can you show? Can you share again and show? Like, can you share one of your document and show everyone how they will be sending the homework? Can you bring one of your document, Naved? Yeah. Mhm. you do not have to insert picture when you take the screenshot of the snipping tool, right? Okay, take a screenshot now. Uh-huh. Yeah, take a screenshot. Just take a screenshot, and then after you have taken the screenshot, just if you go to your Word, you don't have to do anything. Go to your Word. Uh-huh. Cancel this. Go to your Word. Put your cursor. Press right click here. Paste. Can you see the paste options? Click on the paste options. Can you see the paste? Click on the, you have to click on it. So you don't, you can straightforward it. Yeah. If you want to make it bigger or smaller, you can do that. Is it clear, everyone, guys, how you will be sending your homework? Do you have any question on the process? No, no. Every homework commit is, remember what is the purpose of commit? That you have created a table, right? And then you have inserted data, 4 or 5 columns. Just if you do not commit, next time when you will be opening it, you will not get the table will be there, but you will not get the data. Okay, so just to save the data, you execute commit. Yeah. Once you have input your data, right? Then commit once. Then your data is set. You do not have to commit for your queries, those you are writing. You do not have to commit anything on the queries. Okay. All right. So here, are we good up to this? Do you have any other questions up to this? Does anyone of you have any other question up to this? Okay, okay, very good. So in this case, let's do some other discussion that we wanted to do. So if you want to take a 5 minute break before we do other discussions, guys, or you want to continue? Okay, okay. So in this case, let me continue the discussion. So here, few of the things um, that we are going to bring here is, let me start sharing. Can you see my screen? Okay. Our manual testing, in terms of manual testing, the software development process, right? Again, from the BA, business analyst, right? BA means business analyst. What is like a business need a software? They go to the software development company. They ask the software development company, hey, I need a software. The BA sits with the people from the business, like who need software. They collect the requirements, right? From the requirements, they prepare documents like business requirement document, functional requirement document, use cases, right? Now, we have discussed like this BA guys, right? They collect requirements, they put it in business requirement document, functional requirement documents, and use cases. Is that correct? So if you come here, let me bring this. So if you have taken a look at this requirement document, so the depending on what organization, there will be different format of preparing the requirement document. But can you see the product features, that document that I sent to you? That is where you will get most of the requirements. That is the important part where the product features are briefly described. Okay, the product features. Okay, and then they will be also sending, not for all of these, not for all of these requirement, but for few of this important requirement, they will be preparing use cases. Use cases is kind of a little bit more explanation of the requirement, in terms of you'll see that they'll be providing the user action. So use case, if we define what is use case is user actions and system response. Just interaction. When user does something, what system does. User does something, what system does. User does something, what system does. That's it. This is what use case. Sometimes use case will be in the tabular format. Sometimes use case will be in graphical format. Okay, like they will be putting graphs, like, okay, user here, they'll put a symbol for users, they'll be putting symbols for system, and there will be some circles to show what is going on. Okay, so this is what use case. As a tester, we do not write use case, we just need to understand what is use case. There in the interview they might ask you, okay, what is use case? You say use case is a yeah, use case is user action. Use case is a document where we describe user action and system response. So we, as a tester, we do not write requirement document as well, but we analyze requirements. When we analyze requirements, the main thing that we focus is the product features. Okay, so requirement document, right? BRD, business requirement document, use cases, and another document, functional requirement document, FRD. Functional requirement document is again a requirement document which has more elaboration. Elaboration means functional requirement document. In the functional requirement document, we have the requirement with more details. As you can see here, product features in this requirement, the features are briefly described. But in the functional requirement document, you might see the features are described with, graphical format. They could be putting a screenshot. They could be writing a diagram of the product in the functional requirement document, right? So if you look at here in my screen, let me bring one of the functional requirement document. Functional requirement document. Let me see. Okay, give me just a second. FRD, right? So this is the one of the example of a functional requirement document. I'm just, so you are not writing any functional requirement document. You are not writing any business requirement document. You are not writing any use case, but these terms are related to you. These terms you have to analyze. These terms you have to understand. So that's why I'm showing some sample of the documents. Okay, so if you take a look in the functional requirement document, this is from a practical project. If you look at here, you will see that this requirement document, it will have, can you see, the requirements are more detailed, and can you see there are graphs, there are points, 1.1.1, right? It will be more detailed. Again, what is your contribution, or what do you do with it? You read it. Okay, what are they developing? You read it so that you can write your test cases to test these features. Is that correct? Are we good? Are we good up to this? So this is a functional requirement document, FRD, with more details of the requirement, right? And it is more specific, right? Can you see all of the product features? Can you see? It is started with 1.1.5 and then 1.1.5.1. So can you see this? So this is the FRD. Now, these documents, right? These documents When you get it, the developers get the document, they start designing the product, right? When you got the same document in the testing team, when they get the document, they analyze it, they analyze the requirements, and they prepare their test plan. I'm bringing the total flow. They prepare their test plan, like how they will be testing this product. They make a plan. What is test plan? A test plan is a document. A test plan is a document which which describes uh, the testing scope, approach. Test plan is a document which describes the testing scope, approach, resource allocation. Time allocation means schedule, right? So those are the things we describe in a test plan, right? So scope, approach, resource allocation, schedule of the testing. A test plan is a document that describe the scope, approach, resource allocation, schedule of testing a project. Okay, so when you plan a testing in a test plan, right? If you do not know the scope, if you do not know the requirement in details, then you cannot schedule it. You might be scheduling something for 15 days, but it might take 3 months. So how will you know how many, when you make a plan, you have to know how many times it will take to test, right? So when you get the requirement based on that, you plan. So without analyzing the requirements, you cannot prepare your test plan. Does it make sense? Are we straightforward here? Everyone, Nahid bhai, Reza bhai, everyone, Nipa, Nabed, everyone, are we good up to this? Okay. So once you have these requirements, BRD or FRD or use cases, you start analyzing, you prepare a test plan. What is a test plan? A test plan is a document, right? That outlines the scope, approach, resource allocation, schedule of the testing. Now, we are going to look at it. Go ahead. So test plan in the testing team, a senior member or a test lead will be preparing the test plan. But he or she will be taking the input from the team members. He will be having meetings among the team members to make the test plan. Okay. All right. So here I'm going to take a brief look at a test plan now. Now, if you take a look, let me bring a test plan here. Test plan, right? This is a test plan from a um, project, right? You'll see that a test plan again, when they prepare the test plan, most of the case there is a format already. You just change the project related features. Okay, there is a format, you take the format and then you change the project related things. So if you take a look, you will see that introduction, what the project is about, right? Testing objective, and then what scope, can you see the scope, right? And then can you see the testing approach? In the testing approach, they mention what is the entrance criteria, what is the exit criteria. So when you do testing, guys, when you do testing, if the product is not built, can you test it? No. When you want to test something, the product will have to be built. So there are certain entry criteria, exit criteria, like at what situation you will be start testing, at what situation you will be commit that okay, testing is done. Those things goes in the testing approach. And then defect, if there is any defect, where you are going to report the defect, what will be the standard of reporting the defect, those things we include in the defect and reporting section of the test plan. And then test status reporting, and then at the end of the test you will be preparing a test report, right? What will be your standard in reporting the test status. And then defect severity and priority levels. When you are reporting defect, there are severity and priority, that those we will be discussing. So how will you define what is the severity of the defect? What is the priority of the defect, right? So those things will be here, like what is the severity level, those you will be mentioning. And then change control, and then test assumptions, dependencies, test risks, all of the thing, those we mention in the test plan. You will see that all of the stakeholders name in a particular section. So let's say that if they have to prepare a test plan, there will be a format, and in the format, they will be changing the project related information, and then purpose and scope of the document, right? And then test objective. What is the objective of the testing? And then can you see the schedule of the testing? When the development will be done, when QA planning will be done, when QA execution will be done, when the QA execution will happen in different environments, right? And then you will see that there is a link here where these test cases will be there, where they will be writing the test cases. Quality center, you will know more information. We will be discussing more, like what is the use of quality center, what is the project name in quality center, okay? And then who will be giving test data. Remember, if you want to test login of a product, you will have to have login credential, like you will have to have user ID and password. So that is what we are calling test data. Who will be giving the test data? Because as a tester, you might not be able to create user. So who will be giving you this test data? Everything we make a plan here. And then functional testing, regression testing, what type of testing we will be doing, we mention all of these things. Regression test partitioning. So can you see what will be, if there is any automation, we mention it here, okay? And then when you do testing, right, what kind of browser you are going to use. So you provide as much information as possible, as much information as you need, like for your testing in the test plan. What is the scope, right? And then can you see in the scope we are saying, okay, those are the features, those we are going to test, features from the requirement, okay? And then um, validate the following. So we are putting more details of the scope, those we are going to test. And then we have here are the requirements, those we are going to test, okay? And then we have approach, right? In the approach we say uh, entrance criteria, exit criteria. Can anyone read this entrance criteria, exit criteria for me, please? Go ahead. Mhm. So what does, like, there will be certain entrance criteria, like they have to be met so that QA can start their testing, right? What are the entrance criteria? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, stakeholders and QA have completed a walkthrough of the test cases, right? And data that will be executed during the testing phase. Now, do you understand what we are talking about here? What does this mean? So, Stakeholders means project management. Okay, so project management and QA have like, remember that when you get FRD and the documents, right? You write the test cases. So the FRD is finalized, and from the finalized FRD, you have written test cases. Now you will be doing a review of these test cases with the stakeholders, with the project management, so that they are happy the amount of test cases that you have written. You got it? That walkthrough is done. Okay, then go for the uh, next point. The test plan that your team is writing, it will have to be they will have to be agreed with your test plan. Okay. Okay, the development team has made sure that the core features, smoke testing means the core features of the application is performing. The testers are not just going there and waste time. The product is not stable and it will be a waste of time. The development team will make sure that the core features are working, the application is stable, and then they will be bringing it for the QA people to test it. That's so these are the conditions. There will be certain other conditions that probably depending on what organization you work, but there will be entrance criteria and exit criteria for your testing team. And then exit criteria. Can anyone read the exit criteria for me? Any other who is interested to read the exit criteria? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So can you explain it a little bit? When you are exiting from testing, right? Then confirm that no open issues or defects exist. So when QA teams are exiting out from the testing, they will confirm that no defect, right? No defect that will be, uh, you know, that will be hampering the functionality of the application. Mhm. We do not fix the defect. First of all, the developer fix it. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so here, so let's say you have reported a defect. Okay, now if this defect, the developers will have to be fixing this defect. If this if this defect now if this defect is not fixable, then how will this defect impact the application, right? If the defect will be impacting the application in a way, in such a way that you cannot do the functionality, then this application is not going to go to the production. Now few of the defects, the application sometimes will go to production with few of the defects. There will be a list of defects, those are there in the application, it is going to the production. If those defects are not that much major, or if it is not hampering any major functionality, let's say a spelling mistake on somewhere, right? It is not hampering any functionality, but still it may go to the production with that spelling mistake, it will be a future fix. But if the major functionality, let's say that a banking application, if login is not working and the developers are not able to fix it, then it is not going to go to the production, right? So there will be a list of defects which are minor, and it is not the application is able to do the core purpose of the application, but the major defects they'll have to fix it. Does it Was I able to answer your question, Nabil? Okay, and then yeah, go ahead for the next point, Nipa. Mm-hmm. So here is the thing, for this particular project, they were using Quality Center for storing test cases, executing test cases. So in your practical case, it might not be a Quality Center tool. It might be a Jira. It might be a TFS, or it might be a other thing. Quality Center is an older product, right? So they are talking about like a test case management tool where you write test cases, execute test cases. Okay, by this Quality Center word, right? It is a test case management tool. Okay, project management tool. Okay, then go for the next point. So testing is done, and testers has prepared a report, and this report is distributed to the two different group of people. So, so what is your understanding regarding this exit criteria? The understanding is like the testing is summarized, testing is done, application is good, then we exit out from the testing. What is your understanding regarding entrance criteria? The understanding is like the FRD or BRD is finalized. You have prepared a test plan. The project management team has agreed with your test plan. We have the walkthrough of the test cases, like the test cases, those you have written, they are good with that, and then the test plan is approved, right? And the developers has developed, they have smoke tested the application that it is stable, it is functioning, then QA team enter into the testing. Does it make sense? Mhm. We will be bringing a tool here. It could be Quality Center or TFS, but we will be bringing a tool. Okay. All right. So if we go for the next part of the document, right, you will see defect tracking and reporting. So we mentioned like if you get a defect in a test case or in a functionality, then you will have to report defect, right? Now, depending on what tool your organization will be working, this particular organization was using Quality Center. The new name for Quality Center is ALM, Application Lifecycle Management. So you will have to report defect, and you will have to assign it to a developer, right? Now, if you take a look here, the tester, uh, for this particular case, tester record issues in Quality Center and assign them to developer and CC the team leads. The tester sets defect the status open and emails the defect to the assigned person. So when you report a defect in a Quality Center or in any other tool, you will be associating a developer with the defect. And here they are asking, okay, tester will be sending the emails. No, from the tool the developer will receive a email that okay, a defect is created, it is assigned under your name. Okay, defects may be reassigned within the development. Now when the development team will be getting the defect, this defect might be assigned to another developers, or it might be reassigned to another developers. It is their task who will be fixing. Okay, once the developer has resolved the defect, status is set to fixed by the developer. So when the developer will be getting that defect, they will update they will be working to fix the defect, right? And then they'll say, once it is fixed, they will, like in the Quality Center tool, whatever tool they are using, there will be a button there. Okay, this bug is fixed. Okay. Now code fixes for defects with a status of fixed will then go into a build. That means whatever code they have fixed, now they are going to put this new code in the testing environment. That is what we are calling build. This will be deployed in the test environment so that the QA person, so and then once it is in the build, then there are corresponding team who will be putting this build into the test environment. Okay, and then the tester will be retest the defect. If the defect is fixed, if the tester finds okay, the defect is fixed, the functionality is now working according to the requirement, he or she will be closing the defect. If they find that, if the tester find that the defect is not fixed, then he or she will be reopening the defect, right? And the corresponding developers will get a notification that the defect is not fixed. Still, there are few issues to be fixed, and the developers will again review, and if there is something has to be fixed, they will be fixing it. Do you understand the defect life cycle that I have described here? Is it clear, guys, up to this? Any question? Okay. Now you'll see that the defect flow diagram, right? The same thing, project division, like QA people, they will be reporting the defect, and then development decision if the defect is a real defect. If the defect, if they think, oh no, it is not a defect, they will reject it. They will reject the defect. If they think, okay, this is a real defect, they will be fixing it, or they will be deferring it to fix it in the future. Okay, and once the defect is fixed, the code will be in build, and the build will be deployed for QA people to test. And if the QA people find the defect fixed, there will be, if the defect is fixed, right, they will be closing the defect. If the defect is not fixed, they will be reopening the defect, and then it will be going to the development team, and the development team will be reviewing it. So this is a diagram for you to understand. Go through this diagram. And then test status reporting. Once you have done testing, then you will be preparing a report, and then you will be giving a walkthrough of the report to different teams. Now, one thing that is important, defect severity levels, right? Defect severity and defect priority. These two are very common interview questions. So defect severity, right? Defect severity means how severely the defect will be impacting the application, right? So, and defect priority is, so what will be the priority for the developers to fix the defect? Okay, so let's say that one of the defect might have very high severity. High severity means, let's say that um, the normal example that I gave, right? Example that I gave. Let's say that Wells Fargo application, right? Wells Fargo's online banking application. When you go to wellsfargo.com, in the main page, if you see that there is a big spelling mistake in the front page, right? What will happen? How severe the impact will be? It will not, the severity will not, it will not stop you testing from other features. Is that correct? There is a spelling mistake. This is spelling mistake, like they are saying, okay, Wells Fargo is a big bank, it has that many customers, right? There is a mistake in the customer spelling. Now it will not stop you from testing the other features. Is that correct? Oh, yeah. But it will have a certain level of priority because it is in the main page. You have to fix it, right? It will have a priority. Is that correct? It is displaying in the main page. When the senior management or executives will be seeing the page, they will say, oh my god, there is a big spelling mistake in the first page. It will have a priority, but it is not severe. Is that correct? So you understand what is the severity and priority, the difference between severity and priority. Now, let's say there is a problem in login. Your credential is valid, but you cannot log in. That is because you cannot test the remaining features if you cannot log in. So it will have a higher severity, it will have a higher priority. So that is what we are mentioning by defect severity and priority. So severity, very high, urgent, high, medium, low. Again, priority, there could be different status on priority, high, medium, low. But this is the understanding of defect severity and priority. Okay. Then if we keep going, change management. Okay. Now remember that in agile development process we have discussed, the requirement might be changing. Is that correct? If you like, you have already written your test cases. Now, if the requirement is changing, you will have to update your test cases accordingly. Is that correct? So there will be a like how you are going to handle those changes. Change management will be putting those like change in the change management section of the test plan. You put this information, okay, and then you come here in test assumptions. Few things you assume, and business group has signed off on the FRD and is not attempting to introduce changes. So when you got the FRD, you assume that although there could be change in the future, when you are writing test cases, you assume that the requirement is finalized. There will be no change. Resource, QA resources required to. So when you start testing, you assume that whatever resource you will need, it will be provided. There will not be assumed that it is a 10 people work, it will have to be done by 2 people. No, you assume that you will get adequate resource to do your job. You will get technology wise, you will get all of the tools and technology that you need to do the testing, right? The project schedule for all tasks associated with QA have been reviewed and agreed by the application development team and QA team. Okay, you have some assumption. When like if you have any assumption, the test data will be provided. It is not there, but we have that kind of assumptions. Okay, test dependencies. Okay, there will be dependencies, right? You mentioned those dependencies in the dependencies section. For example, projects, right? UAT for business and users is dependent upon QA sign off on the my benefits admin. So uh, dependency is UAT, user acceptance testing. Okay, guys, focus on this. User acceptance testing will happen once QA testing is done. Once the functionalities are tested by QA people, the bugs are fixed, right? When it is a almost a finished product, then user acceptance testing happens. What do you do in the user acceptance testing? The actual business user test the application. Actual business people test the application, right? So this will happen. Dependency QA testing will have to be done. Okay, so name interfaces that could be impacted or could impact testing and what that impact could be. In the dependency section, like if there is any interface related dependency, let's say an application has different parts, right? If your testing is dependent on any of the parts, you mention it here. Internal customers, organization or groups, right? You say like what are the different group of people those are involved here. So dependencies in a summary word, right? They for this particular project they might have their dependency, but for you testing, you list whatever dependency you have. If you have a test data related dependency, you mention it here in this dependency section. If you do not have any dependency, you do not mention anything. Test risk, right? So if anything, if you have any, if you foresee any risk, you mention the risk here, like in terms of data, in terms of schedule. If the schedule is too short because of the project will have to be delivered within a certain amount of time, you mention it here. If you see lesser resource, you will need more resource, you put this risk here. Okay, so basically I'll be sending 2 test plan to you this week. You review this test plan and you come up with question, and then I'll be answering your question, and for next week I'll be asking you to create a test plan on this requirement, on this what is called, we have this requirement document for Mercury. So next week I'll be sending, this week I'm going to send you 2 documents, 2 test plan. You review, you read all of this 2 test plan, and then you come up with your question. Otherwise I'll be asking you to write a test plan for me for a particular project. And then Guys, give me a second. Let me quickly respond to a phone call. All right, guys. So here. So our expectation, I'll be sending you a database related homeworks. I'll be sending you the test plan, and I'll be sending you some sample test cases. As I discussed previously, what is test cases? Test cases is the bread and butter if you work in the testing industry. Okay. So all of this document I'm going to send you, and I'll be asking in the email like what you will have to do. If you do you have any question that you want to ask me up to this, whatever we have discussed? Does anyone have any question that you want to ask? Nahid bhai, J. Yeah, I'm going to send review it and come up with question next week. If you do not have question, I'll be asking you, you write a test plan for me. I'll be sending test cases review. What is this test case? That is our bread and butter, right? How does it look like? You review it. And Naved, do you have any question? Do you want to mention anything? Okay. So in this case, we will summarize our class here today. And watch out for my email. I'll be sending you the recording as well from the class I have recorded. So other than that, I'll summarize this here, and appreciate your time. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Thank you.